Passion is the energy that keeps us going, fills us with meaning, drives us to find our purpose, and let us live our life to the fullest extent possible. We have one such passionate woman with us today who has accomplished so much in life and is making a difference in the society with her purpose. We welcome you, Rashi Narang. Thank you so much for being in our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
So Rashi, I'll just give your quick introduction. So
Sure.
Rashi Sanon Narang is a successful entrepreneur who turned her pet project into a $1 million business. She's the founder and creative director of a pet luxury brand, Heads Up for Tails. This brand offers top-notch pet products, accessories, and care services. Rashi has done her graduation from London School of Economics. Her love for her dog and giving the best quality products for her turned her into an entrepreneur. She started her own startup in 2008, which has become India's first pet care brand. Her brand has been recognized as Brand of the Year award and also with several other prestigious awards. She herself has been recognized with several awards and also as the new face of Indian entrepreneurship. So we are so glad to have you with us today, Rashi. Thank you for joining us.
So, Rashi, tell us, what is your journey of turning your love for dogs into a $1 million business and becoming one of the successful entrepreneur of India?
Sure. Well, none of my entrepreneurial journey wasn't planned at all. And a little puppy came into my life. And I think animals always change the course of our lives. And I think she did that as well, because I couldn't find what I wanted for this newest furry family member. And I looked at so many stores across the country. And then I realized that there really wasn't anything good enough. And so I decided to build it. And so we started out really tiny as a very small homegrown enterprise. This was back in 2008. And there wasn't much of a market. There was, no demand. There was no customer. There was no product. And it's taken a long time to really build this up brick by brick, one day at a time, to reach where we have today. And, the journey's been very bumpy. It's been quite a roller coaster ride. And for years, I think I felt like I was just making no headway at all. It was just slow and difficult. But, I think it's only when you look back can you appreciate that you've come a long way, but there's still such a long way to go and so much work to do. So, I think we just slowly but surely, we started to build out products. We started to build out stores because the stores that we went to, existing stores, didn't want to keep our merchandise. We built out supply chain and the back end, and we had to learn so much on this journey and bring in pet experts or develop pet experts in-house so that we could really, give value to our customers, not just the people customers, but also our animal customers who are very, very special, and really make that difference along the way.
So, Rashi, you have kept your brand's name as Heads Up for Tails, and that's a very interesting name. And we really like this name. It's a very sweet name. So, how did you come up with this name for your brand? There must be some story behind it. So, would you please like to share that story with us?
Yes, absolutely. I didn't have a name for the first 6 months of starting the venture, because any name that I thought of that had woof, tails, dogs, cats, wags, paws, all of the .coms were taken by US and UK companies, because obviously the sector is so evolved over there. And I just couldn't find a name that felt right. So I remember taking part in my first exhibition and I had no signboard. I just didn't even have a name. And then one of my friends one day said, okay, what about Heads and Tails? And then Heads Up and Tails. And we were like, okay, no, Heads Up for Tails. And then, of course, it was such a long name. I didn't know anything about SEO and how complicated it may be, and it's a little bit of a tongue twister, and how names should be short and simple and small, but it just felt right and we just went with it.
The name is really interesting, and it's registered in our mind. We always can say it. Oh, this is something different and special. So thanks to your friend. So Rashi, you faced rejection from more than 200 retailers for the pet products. That must have been challenging for you. How did you deal with the challenge of creating a market for pet care in India?
It was definitely very challenging. And in fact, if I think back, I can still feel a lump in my throat because every door that shut just felt, it felt so demoralizing. It felt like, gosh, am I really doing something that no one is understanding, or is it just all wrong? But I think that in hindsight, it worked out so well because it was because of that rejection that we decided to do our own front end. And it was because of that that we decided to go directly to customers, take part in exhibitions, understand their feedback. And that allowed us to be so much closer to the customer as well, to understand what is it that they really want. And so I think, sometimes a problem is really an opportunity in disguise. And I'm very grateful for all of it, despite the beginning being very, very hard. So yes, it's been challenging, but I think to your point on developing the market, it's taken many, many years of educating the customer and building the customer. Because, for example, they said, but we've had dogs forever, why do I need to give dog treats, and why can't I just give Mari biscuit, or whatever biscuit I eat? So explaining to them about sugar or salt, or what our dogs and cats need in terms of nutrition, or what do they need in terms of grooming, and why our shampoo is not the right shampoo for them, and their skin is different, the pH balance is different, or why they need toys in a space where they're animals and they've not needed things like that, but how their lifestyle has changed so much, where outside they had so much stimulation to their senses, sometimes chasing a squirrel, sometimes running behind a bike, sometimes sniffing at, actually all the time smelling new smells and hearing new sounds. And now they're in small apartments, with very little to actually excite and stimulate them. So it's been a lot of education of the customer and building them up through the years that has now finally we feel like, okay, we've come to a space where people are really keen and very curious to understand these animals and do their best for them.
So, Rashi, definitely, it must have been a very challenging journey for you, where you were trying to get your products, placed in different stores. But now we know that you have come so far, and you're opening many stores of Heads Up for Tails across the country. And, everywhere we see there's a new store that has come up. So that's very inspiring, and congratulations to you for that. So, what are your plans with regards to growing your brand further, or bringing in some kind of innovation, or even starting some other venture along with this?
I think we still believe we have a long way to go in just doing what we're doing. So we want to open many more stores, tap into new markets, new cities, and also grow our online e-commerce piece, because that just allows us to reach people, in faraway places where we don't have stores, but also in metros where we have many stores, but people want the convenience of just a home delivery and not wanting to step out. So I think with both the channels, we want to penetrate a lot deeper. And we're also expanding our spa services. So earlier, until a year ago, we just had a couple of spas with our stores, but now we're really taking that to the next level, and all of our new stores have a spa as well. So lots of that, all of that work, and of course, product innovation is simultaneously on all the time, to be able to look at what we have, what could we do, and constantly improving on even our current portfolio to keep building out more and more.
Yeah, that's really so good. And we are looking forward for all your ventures and all the best for it. Can you please enlighten us on the opportunities and forums that are available for emerging women entrepreneurs?
Yes, I think it's such a lovely time because there's so much support and so much so many platforms available that are helping, that are encouraging, that are mentoring, that are funding. And I think that if you're an entrepreneur, it's really the best time to be one. If you're a woman entrepreneur, even better. so, so yes, I hope that, every woman out there can really build up the courage to go and pursue her dreams. It's not always easy. I think as women, we really have to balance so many things. Expectations are always so high. And I think that we hold ourselves to very high standards when it comes to making sure that we're really doing our best at work, at home, caring for our elders, taking care of our kids, running our kitchens, and there's so many things to always think about, and just playing our role in so many other ways as well. So I think that we do need a strong support network, and we need to really be able to be okay with doing our best and leaving it at that, and not constantly judging ourselves or criticizing ourselves. But I think it's such a wonderful time to get out there and pursue whatever it is that your heart desires, and just go for it.
That's very important for all of us to realize that whatever we feel right in the heart, we need the courage to go after that. And instead of waiting for the opportunity to come towards us, so we just need to take that step, and then, yeah, everything falls in place. So, Rashi, apart from being a successful entrepreneur, you are also someone who's working towards the welfare of animals. And we know that you also have started HUFF Foundation. So can you please tell us more about the foundation, and how can we and our audience can contribute towards all the initiatives?
Yes, that's my most favorite part. I think that, from day one of starting Heads Up for Tails, really what we really wanted to do was to drive impact at the community level, because I think the cause of the street dogs and cats in our country is really quite heart-wrenching. They have to face abuse, trauma, and cruelty of really magnified amounts. And I believe that that's really not fair, because that's their home too. So I think with the HUFF Foundation, we want to be able to do two things. One is really change mindsets, and that we're doing through a lot of knowledge, through a lot of education and awareness. Because once you start to understand something, that's the only time that you'll want to save something, when you start to care about it. And the second is just making the impact in terms of whether it's providing these animals with shelter, with water, with food, with winter jackets in the bitter cold, or medical aid when needed. So we're partnering with a lot of other NGOs on some of these things, and other initiatives we're doing ourselves, such as adoption drives through our stores, and so many other things that we do in terms of reflective collar drives, and feed a dog in need, which is something that we give for free with all our orders, so that a customer also has a chance to feed a dog or a cat that they believe needs some love and food. And we're hoping that changes. Once you do it, you realize how nice it is to be able to help someone, and we're hoping that really starts off a chain reaction. But also, I mean, really on the education side, it's about reminding people that we have to coexist peacefully with all creatures, because this is not just our home. I mean, it belongs to everybody. And so you cannot just shoo away that dog in front of your house. That street is his or her home too. And, we are responsible for making these dogs stray. And we have to take that responsibility, and we have to open our hearts and our homes, allow them into our driveways, allow them to take shelter, just understand them better. So we're trying to do workshops around dog body language and so many things, because they're always talking to us, and if people learn how to listen, then they were not going to get into conflict situations. If you approach a dog correctly, they'll never bite you. But if you're confrontational, if you're scared, if you're picking up a stone as soon as you see an animal, then they're also going to protect themselves. And I believe that there's so much for all of us as a human species to take away from that relationship between man and animal, because it teaches us so many lovely things. And I believe that animals just make us better people. So really hoping to make a difference as best as we can in that space too.
That's really a very good initiative, especially, to understand the correct body posture and language to approach animal. And you are doing that workshops and all. It's really good. Even we would like to join it. So, yeah. So, what do you think about the need for creating awareness and changing the mentality of people towards their pet and other animals? What advice would you like to share with everyone on how we can contribute individually for the development and welfare of animals?
I think for our pets, I think it is a big responsibility that this animal has left his or her own species and come into a home with completely different species. And I think it's really our responsibility to help them live their best life. And that involves really respect and understanding, respecting them for the species that they are. What does a dog or a cat really need? Where did they come from? How have they evolved? From a version of the wolf, they are, these cute, cuddly creatures who are in our beds, right? Like that evolvement is so fascinating. What do they need in terms of their grooming, in terms of their nutrition, in terms of training, in terms of exercise, in terms of mental stimulation? Their life was so different then, and now it's so different. And how can we do our best? Because they give so much back to us. So I think that's my advice on pets, that take the time to just respect and understand them for who they are. And they all have such different personalities. So even if it's a golden retriever that you have, just let them be their own, person. So not necessary that every golden retriever will be the same. So some might be shy, some might be friendly, and no comparisons needed, that person's golden retriever is like this and mine is not. So I think just letting them be who they are and just embracing that. And then I think, like I mentioned, for the community animals, just opening our hearts and homes and doing just a little bit, that can go such a long way. And sometimes that little bit could just be leaving a bowl of clean water outside your house. I mean, it is so scorchingly hot, and these animals don't even know where to get fresh water from for a drink. So it could be something so little, and it helps birds and cows and so many animals that are on the streets, some of whom you may not even ever see, little squirrels, and and it goes such a long way. So kindness takes so little, and I hope that everyone can do their part just a little bit.
Yes, Rashi, definitely. Like you have told, even these animals, they deserve respect for, being who they are. And like you said, that we need to be more careful with the pets that we have. But it's not just about, like people still believe, especially in India, we've seen that people, still have that mentality that they want the pet at home, but they feel more like a toy rather than respecting that species and taking more care, because just like how we raise a human baby, we need to raise a dog also like that. They need that much care, amount of attention, love, and our respect also. And apart from that, we also request, like on your behalf and on our behalf also, we would like to request to everybody that please, it takes a really little effort to feed a stray dog or cat or any other animal or bird for that matter. So please, wherever you find, if you can just give, like place a bowl of water or feed them some food, and yes, not sugar for the animals. So please do that. So that's a request. And Rashi, that was really interesting connecting with you. And you're an inspiration, doing so much. People do a lot for other humans, for themselves, for money and everything, but you are doing it for those who cannot speak at all, and you understand their language and you are spreading love around. And I think that's your passion, that's your purpose, and that's really beautiful. It was lovely connecting with you and speaking with you. So I would like to conclude this session by saying that the most precious thing that we have is this moment, present moment, and it is better if it is spent doing things which we love. So let's celebrate each moment by doing things which bring happiness for us and for others. And you just reminded us of that today, Rashi. So thank you so much for joining us and giving your time and sharing your beautiful experience with us.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rashi.
much to both of you for this platform, for bringing me on and letting me share my thoughts and, you know, what I dream of. Big thank you. Really enjoyed our conversation.